Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Happy Sea Otter Awareness Week.
Woohoo!
Hi. Thank you so much for being here. We're so excited to be celebrating the Sea Otter Awareness Week with the Sea Otter team members here, Sarah and Catherine. My name is Ganush. I'm on the content creation team. And today I have my fellow content creators, Christine and Alan, helping behind the scenes, and also Emily lurking in the corner. And as I mentioned, we have two wonderful Sea Otter team members here, Sarah and Catherine, joining us. We're going to be talking about all things sea otters while playing Space Otter Charlie, which we played before in previous years, and we just did a test run. I think we're going to go with the multiplayer game. Earlier, when we were testing it out, they were being very kind and nice to each other as we were playing, so we'll see if we'll have a little bit of competition maybe later. But we're going to talk about how we're celebrating this week. We're going to talk about our lovely sea otters on exhibit. Hope that y'all were tuning into our Sea Otter live cams, which are going all week on Twitch and YouTube this week as we celebrate. With that said, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks
We're
for having us.
Excited.
So much for having us.
I would love to hear a little bit about both of you. If you want to just share a little bit about yourself, what's got you here today, and Sarah, want to get us started?
Sure. Hello, my name is Sarah Price. I've been working at the Monterey Bay Aquarium as a mammologist for a little over 2.5 years. And before that, I worked and volunteered for the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program with the wild and stranded otters that went through the rehabilitation program. And I love working here. It's the best. I have the best job.
Thank you so much. We'll definitely talk about the rehabilitation program a little later for sure. Get us started. Hello.
Hello, I am also a mammologist. I've been with this program for almost 2 years, and I joined this program following my internship with the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program that Sarah was also a part of. So I moved out here for this program, and I also love my job, and we have so much fun.
That is so wonderful. I didn't know you had started as an intern, and that's just, I always love the stories of folks that start as interns and join us full time, and that always makes me happy.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to get started on playing as I start asking some questions, and also if folks have any questions in the chat, let us know. Also let us know if audio and everything sounds good to you. And let's see. All right, who is Otter 1? Sarah?
I am Otter 1.
You're Otter 1.
Who's
Okay.
Otter 1?
Got it. Look at that beautiful 80s
suit.
dance looking
I
suit.
know.
Yeah, she's
Fabulous.
stylish.
It's giving Pink Pony Club.
And we have Sarah as are you continuing with the shark suit?
I like the shark suit.
The shark suit is great.
Yeah.
All right.
Ready?
Uh-huh.
Which
I think
are we
so
doing
urchin
today?
again.
I think so.
Yeah. We understand that one.
I think we just do what we did.
Same.
Yeah. So I barely know what's going on.
So last time we did, maybe Hammered was, so last, when we were just doing a test before this live stream, we tried the Hammered version. But maybe that's
Hammer.
what the,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a hammer
okay.
that moves back and forth.
So it's not like different
Okay.
challenge levels, it's different environments.
Yeah.
You
for-
can-
What
yeah.
about Zaptown?
Let's do it. Let's go to Zaptown.
Awesome.
Whoa, that was loud.
Ooh, spicy. Oh.
All right. Well, I'm going to just rapid fire
got that
questions. And you already added getting your first urchin, so that's pretty amazing.
Oh, no, I'm going to get
I would love for you to get us through what's a day in the life of a mammologist. What do you do when you wake up, when you get here? What do you have for breakfast? Okay, don't have to wait.
Do you want to start with that, Catherine?
Sure, yeah. So our day starts at 7:30 a.m. We come in, we check on the otters on our live cams, and then we head down to the food room to start our food prep for the day. So we chop all of our clam, and then we prep our shrimp and squid as well. And then we'll head to the exhibit. We'll arrange their diets for the day, get those in the fridge. And while that is all going on, someone else is feeding the otters their breakfast. Sometimes we'll give them clam, shrimp, and squid, so their typical diet for their first meal. And sometimes they will have a live feed, including clams and mussels. For some variety, it's great for their teeth. We'll give them that live food, especially when we have a dive going on. So when our exhibit is being cleaned, they're in the back for a little bit longer. It's a smaller space, so we want them to be content back there, busy eating their food, and they love it. And then the rest of our day is really surrounded with us feeding and cleaning up after the otters. They require a lot of our work, a lot of our time. So we have feeding sessions. We have their first breakfast feed, and then we have a 10:30, 1:30, and 3:30 session. So that's kind of like a meal. And then interspersed throughout the day between those, we'll have smaller enrichment feeds. So we could give them toys, we could give them ice molds, we could just drop off some ice with no food for enrichment. We'll also give them a variety of enrichment on exhibit. So we might put some buckets out for them. We'll give them ice throughout the day. We'll give them different structures on deck that they can interact with or not interact with. That is up to them. We like it when they interact with our enrichment, but they can do whatever they want.
Thank you for sharing that. I see that Sarah has taken this opportunity to eat every single urchin.
You are killing it.
I'm going to have the next
Catherine,
question
would you like
be
to
Sarah.
start?
So that I can eat all the sea urchins.
Perfect.
There was mention of cleaning the sea otter exhibit. How do you do that? How often do you do that?
So
Who does that?
Everybody. So exhibit cleaning can be something as simple as just making sure that the deck has been hosed and cleared of debris. We have an exhibit that's outside, so sometimes birds might use that area as a landing pad for their fecal matter and such. So we just clean it off and make sure that the otters are have a clean place to eat and walk around. And then because we have this beautiful exhibit that has living fish in it, we can't drain the exhibit. Yes. You just shot me. That was so mean.
Did. I want your urchin.
So we actually have a combination. So staff will dive in the exhibit during certain days of the week, Wednesdays and Saturdays. We also have volunteer divers that help us clean the exhibit from inside. And we have like these big essentially underwater vacuums that we'll use to clean up any debris. And then we get algae off the windows and things like that. So a deep clean twice a week, and then, hosing and cleaning pretty much all throughout the day, every day.
There's quite a lot of work that goes into maintaining the exhibit as well as the sea otters.
Yeah, our job is probably 90% cleaning.
But, that exhibit looks beautiful and lovely, and I never get tired of seeing folks, whether it's kids or adults, just running up the stairs and getting so excited to see the sea otters.
Yeah,
we do watch people during sessions.
We do.
It's great to see people so happy to see the otters.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. Well, folks, I'm going to keep asking questions here, but if you have your own questions, you can drop it in the chat, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch. And I'm going to also... Yes, finally!
Catherine's getting really mean.
I was mentioning this earlier, but I played this game with one of the other content creators, Dr. C, or Helen, and a couple of years back, and I just got a little too competitive. And seeing how nice these two are to each other, I'm like, come on, let's out. I'm here for the chaotic spirit here. What are some fun facts about sea otters that you want our audience to know?
One of my favorites, since we're collecting urchins at this moment in time, otters can specialize in a particular food. So otters can be sea urchin specialists, and when they are, their bones turn purple. It's called a kinochrome. So you can see that in their teeth and in their entire skeleton, it turns purple. A lot of the team members on our team, their favorite color is purple, and so I think it's really nice. Their favorite animal can have purple bones.
It's would you say it's kind of similar to how humans can, like, if we eat too many carrots, our skin could
Similar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool. How about you?
Mine is probably the function of their pockets. So
Yes.
sea otters have basically saggy armpits, so they have some extra skin in their armpits that they can stash tools or the food that they're eating, even their favorite toy. And some of our otters have deeper pockets, and they really try to convince us that there's nothing in there when they would like more food. Ruby especially is very good at it. She's like, I got nothing left. What are you talking about?
Well, I see that we have a tight race going on. I think we're the winner is the person who gets 15 urchins, right? So,
Yes.
and somebody just got the golden urchin. So you just mentioned Ruby. Let's talk about our sea otter girls. What are their names? How do you tell them apart? And yeah, tell us a little bit about their behaviors.
Yeah, so we have 3 sea otters at the moment. Ivy is our blondest otter, and she'll be 13 in November. Very exciting, becoming a teenager. And yeah, she's our most distinctive because she is very, very blonde. So if you see a blonde otter on exhibit, that is Ivy. Oh, you win. Good job. Catherine's really good at this game. And then Selka is 12 years old. She is our darkest otter. And she is very easily confused with Ruby. They look very similar. They're very similar size. They have very similar coloring. To me, Selka has like a longer nose, and she has more of that typical like weaselly face. And Ruby's face is a little bit rounder. Ruby also has a slightly more honey undertone to the blonde on her chest and under her chin, whereas Selka has more of like an ashy blonde. It becomes very obvious when you're staring at them every single day. So I might sound kind of crazy, but they do look very different in the face. It's just hard to tell on cameras and things. Behavioral-wise, usually Selka will be hanging out by the windows, and Ruby will usually be hanging out closer to the deck edge. So that can be one way you can tell them apart, just from their behaviors a little bit different. And they all have different personalities.
Yeah, definitely. And there's also a clear difference between Selka and the other otters, right? About her story with having to deal with sharks. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, you can talk about
Sure,
that.
yeah. So Selka was rescued as a pup. She was paired with a surrogate. Her surrogacy actually ended early, and with her first otter, and she was repaired with Rosa, who was one of our otters who used to live here. And then once she went through her surrogacy with Rosa, she was successfully released. She was out in the bay for, I believe, 2 months. And then we received a call that she was hauled out on a beach with wounds from a shark. So she had a pretty severe shark lacerations on her abdomen, and she has a couple nicks on her flippers as well. So she underwent extensive surgery here. She went through another rehab process, but this time as a juvenile or adult otter. I don't recall exactly what her age was at that time. And then they attempted to release her again. Unfortunately, following those releases, she wasn't able to acclimate to the wild as well. So she was deemed non-releasable. You can also tell her apart by looking at her fur. She still has a line in her fur where she has some scarring that she'll have for the rest of her life, and she has some little nicks in one of her flippers. I believe it's her right flipper.
She's got some broken toes,
Some
too.
broken toes.
But that doesn't stop her. She can still thermoregulate just as well as the other girls. She can maneuver around the exhibit just as well as them. It really has not impeded her in her life here.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And I am very distracted by this, like, oh, you just shocked yourself, but like this sparkly purple thing that followed the trail that like sparkled yeah, that.
I know.
You see that? That's really cool. I
You
just
have a cool
noticed that.
suit.
I don't know
Did you
how
just
I do
get that?
I
Or
think I
has
got
that
it the
been-
whole time.
I just noticed that. Wow. Okay. I just saw in our YouTube chat about I cannot read. Sorry, I have glasses, but that doesn't mean that I can actually see things. Crazy Paladin, I believe, is the username, but you have a sea otter plushie from Georgia Aquarium and planning to order one from Monterey Bay Aquarium. That is wonderful. Makes us very happy. And we're going to use this as an excellent opportunity to plug our shop. We do have an online shop. If you go to montereybayaquarium.org, there's a tab for our shop, or just montereybayaquarium.org/shop. And we have a selection of sea otter bags, plushie, and also keychains and all sorts of sustainable items that you can purchase, not only to help us with our mission of conservation of the ocean, but also to celebrate Sea Otter Awareness with us and tell all your friends about cute sea otters by wearing sea otter merch. Yes.
We have some questions here from you.
Yes, let us know, Christine. What's the question?
Okay, so question for the sea otter experts.
Yeah.
How much space do they have on land and below water? Do they smell bad? What is the neatest rock or something else you found in an otter's pocket? I've seen them.
I actually don't know the dimensions of our deck space. I should probably know that. But
I don't know off the top of my head, but it is larger than you would think it is. It once you're standing on it, it feels much larger.
And we can also increase that by giving them access to their holding pens. So behind the scenes, we have more deck space, and when we're not open to the public, we can open up that area so they have lots of deck space there as well. And otters tend to spend most of their time in the water anyway, so it's not quite as important as having that water space. And then what was the other part of that question? Oh,
Do they smell bad? Was that part of it?
Is that what I heard?
Smell bad.
No, they don't smell like anything.
They do not.
Yeah.
No, they spend many hours a day grooming themselves.
Yes.
So they are mostly very well groomed.
I had never thought about how sea otters would smell like. That's a very interesting
Yeah,
question.
they're not very stinky.
No.
And then what have we found in their pockets? Sometimes if Ivy works really, really hard on a spot, she'll chip away a part of the exhibit. And that is such a wonderful treasure to keep in her pocket. And so my team and I are constantly looking at the exhibit and checking it for little divots and making sure we're documenting them. Like, does this divot look larger than it did last week? And then we're going and patching up all the parts that Ivy has deemed unacceptable. So she'll keep that around in her pocket for a bit.
That is really funny. I did not know that.
Yeah.
We have another one. Which otter is the nicest and the most ornery?
It's hard to say what is nice, really. I mean, they all behave like sea otters. They are trained. We like to say, they're trained, but they're not tame. So even though we're able to do these amazing training sessions with them, it takes a lot of trust to build that up. Yeah. And at the end of the day, they're still wild animals, and we still, are wary when we're working with them. But Catherine and I have both spent many years at this point building a relationship with all of them. Yeah. And so we have just like a mutual respect with all of them, which is really good. You are so good at this.
That's nice. Added 2 games.
I really don't know if I can multitask very well.
They do appreciate different things that we do in different ways. So Ruby loves our ice molds. So any piece of ice, whether it has food in it or not, whether it's made of juice or just water, she loves it. So she interacts with a lot of those that Selka and Ivy might be less likely to interact with. They still like them. They still enjoy them. But Ruby, that is one of her favorite things, probably.
Yeah, speaking of those ice cubes, let's chat a little bit about the kind of different enrichments that y'all do and ways that you make sure that they get all their nutritions. I know I've had the opportunity to see kind of the ice molds that you guys make. So could you tell us a little bit about this other part of your job that takes quite a while, which is the meal prep and making sure that they're all constantly enriched with all the
Yeah.
good stuff.
So we feed them invertebrates, which is what they would eat in the wild. And in the wild, they do get most of their water from their food. So we don't have to give our girls ice, but we do like to. They interact with it a lot. And then with that ice, we make ice molds. So we might put food in them, we might put toys in them, we might put some car wash kelp in them, we might make a fun bucket mold and just give them a bucket with some kelp and ice in it. We like to add a lot of variety. So we might give them an ice mold one day and then with shrimp in it, and they might not see that for another week or two. It just depends on what we have available, what we're looking for them to interact with, because really what we're encouraging is the behavior that they exhibit in the wild. So when we give them dog toys, it's so that we are simulating them removing food from shells.
Right.
It's the closest that we can simulate on exhibit, because if we gave them shells on exhibit, they would scratch our windows, which Ivy likes to do a lot.
We have a couple more questions in the chat. Do the otters, I cannot pronounce, ever bite or scratch?
Yeah, so, like I said, they're still wild animals, so they are capable of doing those things. And, it does not happen very often with us, but yeah, they are capable of it. They have very strong teeth, very strong jaws. When we're working with them, if we have to get them ready for veterinary exams, we're wearing Kevlar gloves. We're taking a lot of safety precautions because they have the same bite force as a black bear, with just a fraction. Yeah, just a fraction of the size. So it's very impressive.
That is really impressive.
That they use those strong jaws for being able to bite through crab shells and other sorts of shellfish, and so. They can, and they also have claws. So they do have little claws. They are semi-retractable. And they are sharp. So otters are soft and they are sharp.
And so much of the work that you do, especially we get to see this during the live feeding sessions, is just making sure that the otters feel comfortable around you. There's so much time spent on that, so that when it comes to veterinary care or any time that you need to be really in close proximity with the otters, they feel trusted and they feel comfortable. So, and that is such an important aspect of animal welfare when it comes to these otters.
Yeah, exactly.
We have one more question. What would you tell visitors to do or not do when they come to see the sea otters? I would say that we do get questions online about, can we come behind the scenes and pet sea otters? And as we just talked about, they are wild animals and you need special training. So that is not something that we offer here.
Yeah, we just aren't set up for it. Some aquariums are, but we're not, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Our girls also go back and forth between our program and the research and conservation program. So they help a lot with the rehab of wild otters, whether it's pups or juveniles, adults, really all ages. So our girls have a pretty different life than other facilities have. We are simulating the wild a bit more when they're behind the scenes with otters on a rehab track.
This is actually a great segue into our rehabilitation program. Could you tell us more about that and the amazing work that we do in helping our sea otter population in the wild?
Yeah, so we have a stranding hotline. So anytime a member of the public sees an otter that they think is in distress, they will give us a call, and the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program staff members will go out and take a look at that otter. If it's a pup and they cannot locate the pup's mother, then they will bring it in for rehab. They will hand raise it wearing a disguise so that young otter has no association with food and humans. And then once that pup is old enough, they will pair it with one of our surrogates, so one of our resident otters, to be raised behind the scenes by that otter. So at that point, that otter, the pup, is no longer being hand raised by humans. They are being raised by their surrogate. They'll be with them for about 6 months, which is
A long time.
A long time. But that's about as long as they are with their mother in the wild as well. So we do try to simulate the wild raising as much as possible. We continue to raise, to take care for that otter and help train it to be able to survive in the wild once they are weaned from their surrogate. So they give them a lot of live food. They'll give them live crabs.
Good job.
You were talking more this time.
And once they feel that they're ready, they're about a year old, they will release them to the wild and monitor them for a couple weeks to make sure that they're doing well. Sometimes they'll bring them back in and release them another time. Sometimes, they haven't been in this case, the bay, since they were a pup the size of a cork, like this big. So the ocean is a big, big world, and it is scary. So I get that. And then we will also rehab otters of other ages. So we have juveniles and adults. They wouldn't be placed with a surrogate because they already know how to forage on their own. They know how to feed themselves, but sometimes they have injuries or they're just malnourished. Sometimes they will get females with pretty severe nose wounds from males because they are aggressive when they are trying to mate. And they will feed them, make sure that they're healthy, and then release them back to the wild so that they can benefit the wild population.
It's really exciting that not only the work that we do right now, but that we're having an annex added where we get to rehabilitate even more sea otter pups and sea otters. We had the chance to do a live stream on Instagram and TikTok yesterday, having a conversation and showing a little bit of the behind the scenes construction work. So if you want to continue to celebrate Sea Otter Awareness Week with us, learn more about these amazing animals and just all the different work that we do. I see also in the chat people are having a good time with our live stream, which makes me really happy.
Oh, yay.
And if you want to know more about the live streams that we have going on, make sure to check us out on different social channels. And I want to get a little more into, we started talking about your job, how you start your day, the kind of work that you do. What are your favorite and least favorite parts of your job?
Well, my favorite part is pretty easy, is any time we get to have a training session with the otters. It's a pretty small percentage of my day, but it makes my day every time, and it's, the reason we get to do what we do. My least favorite part of like a day-to-day is we have this really big, really wonderful walk-in freezer, but it's really cold, and I don't like going in there. But I do it for the otters. I'm very brave. But yeah, that's probably my least favorite part is I'll have to be in there for a long time sometimes, and I'm too stubborn to put on a jacket, and that's my own problem. But it gets cold. It's like 1 degree in there, which, is how it's supposed to be. But
No.
I'm so sorry, but I'm not.
Oh, but look, I have it again.
But not
There we go. Yes. Some competition.
Catherine, what was your favorite part and least favorite part?
My favorite part is probably about the same as Sarah's, just building a relationship with the otters. When I joined this program, I didn't have any training experience, so I was really starting from square one. And the team was amazing with teaching me about training and working with the otters because I had only had the pup experience caring for pups with Sorak, which is very different. They pretty much only work hands-on with pups that are small and cannot hurt you. But our girls could hurt you. It's very different. So being able to work one-on-one with them is really special. It took me a few months to kind of build up to that, and I was so excited when I got to start training.
Do you have a least favorite part?
We have a back holding pool that we have to clean whenever we give the girls live food, and it grows algae. Like everything grows algae, and sometimes we have to bleach it. And I really don't like bleaching that pool.
I didn't realize that was your least favorite. Oh, that's funny.
I don't like it.
That's fair. I was just about to share how I had to It's gonna, I just started saying it, so I'm just gonna say it. This is gonna be live that I had to, I just moved to a new place, and the person that lived there before me did not clean the bathroom really well. So there was I was cleaning basically he took a dirty rag and just scrubbed the walls with it, so it made it more dirty. So I spent 4 hours. I don't know why I'm sharing this. I guess I'm just still processing my weekend. I'm sorry. Let's move on and go back to Sea Otters. We don't need to talk about my experience.
Yeah, our job is not so bad as that.
No. We are a little crazy about cleaning.
Yeah.
Patrick and I used to have the seat of cursed knowledge back when we played Animal Crossing. This is just a revival.
Yes, the seat of cursed knowledge.
I see Dr. Goof saying that they moved out of California, but Monterey Bay Aquarium will always be their favorite. Thank you so much. Hope that you get to visit us sometimes. Where can you play this game? We're playing this on Switch at the moment, so if you want to play this game, it's really cute. So we're playing the multiplayer version, which you can play up to 4 people, but there is also a story mode.
Story mode, yeah.
Mode. And it's actually kind of difficult. I was earlier just getting our controllers ready and warming up, and I was constantly dying, and Christine was being very kind, just watching and not telling me how much I sucked. But it's really fun. It's a really fun game.
It's on all platforms.
It is all on all platforms, as Emily just shared with us. All right, let's keep going and talking about Sea Otter Awareness Week. This is a week of the year that we get to celebrate, talking about sea otters all day, every day, talking about their importance in the coast of Monterey and all across the West Coast. So we talked a little bit about the surrogacy program, how we help rehabilitate sea otters and release them back in the wild. Why are sea otters important? I've heard of this word called keystone. What is this magical keystone species? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
So sea otters are a keystone species. They are very important in maintaining the balance in the kelp forest, which is what we have growing in the bay. So the kelp is rooted to the ground with a holdfast. That is basically the roots of the kelp plant. And sea urchins like to consume that. And if sea urchins consume all of the kelp holdfasts, the kelp will float away and there will be no more kelp forest. So sea otters consuming those urchins are really important in maintaining the vitality of the kelp forest and keeping that as a nursery for other fish, a habitat for seals, and for themselves. Sea otters hang out in the kelp forest. They'll wrap themselves in kelp to kind of stay in that one area so they don't drift away. So it's really important to preserve the kelp forests that we have and continue to maintain them.
And not only are they a keystone species in the kelp forest environment, but they are
very nice.
We're on a tie now. Wow.
I'm getting better at multitasking. But they are also a keystone species for the eelgrass bed environment as well. And so I just learned this recently. So I knew about the fact that they eat these little crabs that eat the slugs that eat the algae that clean the eelgrass. And eelgrass is an actual plant, where kelp is an algae.
Right.
Eelgrass is a plant that photosynthesizes. So they clean the leaves of this eelgrass and allow it to photosynthesize. So when you have a keystone species or predator that's at the top of the food chain, it's regulating the predators for the animals that are able to clean the eelgrass so that it can photosynthesize and live. But I also just learned that by sea otters digging around in the eelgrass beds, they are encouraging genetic diversity. So it encourages the eelgrass to flower and produce sexually as opposed to asexually. And so when you have a more genetically diverse population of eelgrass, it's less susceptible to diseases and things like that. So it's strengthening the genetic diversity of the eelgrass as well as promoting clean eelgrass blades.
That's really amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool.
that.
UC Santa Cruz did a study on that. I think it's really interesting.
That is fascinating.
Yeah.
And not to this level of cool detail, but we just actually posted a couple of videos on eelgrass and kelp forest as two superpowered coastal ecosystems. So again, you can go on our social channels. We're on TikTok, Instagram. Yes, let's go.
I'm trying. I'm just like really bad at this.
We're
My
6-0
urchin.
this time.
You're really good at hitting me.
I'm really sorry.
A little more secrets from me is that I actually I don't play multiplayer games that often because a very dark side of me just comes out and I get very intense. And I didn't know I had that side of me until I played Overwatch many years ago. And I was like, I think I'm going to stick to RPGs.
We have another question.
Yes.
What weather affects otters the most in the wild?
Ooh.
You want to
what
take that one,
weather?
Catherine?
Sure. I would say storms are the biggest impact for sea otters because it causes separation, mostly maternal separation. So that is how we end up with some pups in our care because they've been separated from their mom. We can't find them. They can't find us. So then they come and join our surrogacy program.
And that's another thing with kelp forests not being as plentiful as they used to be. Kelp forests are a great storm barrier. So if otters can get into a kelp bed and hold on, they're less likely to be separated or get injured in storms. So with fewer kelp beds, that's more difficult for otters for sure.
And
Oh, sorry.
That's really intense.
Go eat my urchin over here.
so when a sea otter pup is separated from their mom, one of the ways that they get to find each other is the really adorable squeak that the pup makes. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. So sometimes if the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program brings in a pup, they will go out and hold the pup out and just let it scream for its mom to hear it. And sometimes they'll recognize it and come and find their pup, and they'll be able to reunite them.
That's
That
the
is
best case
amazing.
scenario. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. We just recently did a video on sea otter squee, and we had different folks trying to do the squee sound, and we asked the audience to see if they could tell the difference between a human imitating a sea otter squee and an actual sea otter pup. And sometimes when you're here up at the aquarium and you go up the stairs to the very top where you can see the top of the kelp forest, that open space, to both your left and right, there's two holding spaces for taking care of sea otter pups, and it's generally requested that we stay quiet so that we don't disturb the sea otter pups. But if there are sea otter pups there, sometimes you can hear that squeak, which is very, very cute. Awesome. Again, if you're joining us here on Twitch and YouTube, we are celebrating Sea Otter Awareness Week with the wonderful Sarah and Catherine from Sea Otter team. I also have my wonderful fellow content creators, Alan, Christine, and Emily in the back helping us out. And we're just playing Space Otter Charlie and talking about all things sea otters. Oh, no. And yes, getting chaotic.
Otter chaos.
We generally get a lot of questions, whether in these live streams or on our posts, about people being very interested in the field of animal care and getting to work with wonderful animals such as sea otters. So what are some suggestions that you have? And if you could tell us a little bit more about your journey of how you got here.
Yeah, I can start. So I have known for a really, really long time, good job, Catherine, that I wanted to work with animals. I started in 7th grade. I volunteered for, it was the Youth Science Institute in Visona Park, and they had stick bugs and cockroaches and snakes. And so I started by cleaning out stick bugs and cockroach enclosures.
Wow.
And then as I got a little bit older, and I went to Chico State and got a bachelor's degree in biology and ecology and evolution. And as I was there, I got a chance to work with raptors. So I worked with a red-tailed hawk and a western screech owl. So I had some really cool experiences working at the Chico Creek Nature Center.
Awesome.
And then once I graduated with my bachelor's degree, I realized, I really want to go back to the ocean. I love marine mammals. And so I did absolutely everything. Oh, slow blow, man.
I don't know what it is. Oh my gosh.
I mean, just here on my soapbox.
She's out to get you.
And so I really wanted to get back to marine mammals. And so I did everything in my power to kind of dip my toes into the marine mammal world. I got an internship with the Marine Mammal Center. Mm-hmm. And if you are looking to get into marine mammal work, I highly recommend working for them. I had a chance to do my internship at the Moss Landing location, but there's also locations in Sausalito and near San Luis Obispo. And you get some great experience doing rescues and administrating medications. I learned how to place IVs.
Wow.
So I got some really amazing advanced medical experience with them.
For sure.
I started volunteering for the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program at the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So I got a lot of that pup handling experience through there, and I highly recommend doing that as well. It's an incredible program. You get to do some pretty amazing things. And then I also worked for the Pinniped Cognition and Sensory Systems Lab at UC Santa Cruz, where I had a chance to learn about animal training. And from there, that's kind of where I decided that I wanted to be an animal trainer. I got to work with an amazing harbor seal named Sprouts, and he taught me everything I need to know about communicating effectively with animals. So yeah, I've done a lot of random things. I worked on a whale watching boat so I could learn more about the bay as a naturalist. Mm-hmm. Same with, I worked at a kayak place so I could learn more about the Elkhorn Slough. So a lot of my knowledge, even though I didn't study marine biology, was just kind of on the job training.
Yeah.
So yeah, my advice is just, get your foot in the door, start meeting really nice people. It's a really small industry. Everybody knows each other. So make friends and start working with any animals that you can, even if it's, dogs and cats at a shelter. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was a really long answer, but I've done
that was wonderful.
A lot of the work is as volunteer until you can find someone that can offer a paid position, which are honestly pretty difficult to find.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. Happy to help.
Sarah has a lot of experience. I have a little bit less. But I went to school in Florida. I was a marine science and biology major. I always knew I wanted to study marine science, but I was never really sure what I wanted to do. I got into diving in high school, so that was a big draw for me. I also visited Monterey a few times growing up, so the aquarium was definitely a huge inspiration for my career path.
That's amazing.
Yeah, when I graduated college, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I decided I always wanted to go to vet school, so I started down that track, started working at a local vet in my hometown, started the application process, and while I was working there, I got an email from the Sea Otter Research and Conservation Program about my application for their internship. So I decided to accept that. It is very competitive and was, to me, a huge deal that I got that. I was so excited, and I loved that internship more than anything.
That's awesome.
I learned so much from them, but my experience working at the animal hospital was hugely applicable to my career right now and my internship. I definitely felt like that set me up for success. Gave me a little more experience in this field that is pretty new to me. So once I was an intern out here, I just happened to be in the right place at the right time when there was an opening when they needed someone. Mine was kind of a coincidence and has worked out really well. I love my team that I work with. I've learned so much from them, and I'm so grateful for them.
That's wonderful.
It's crazy. Like, it's, this job is, I say, it's half luck and half working really hard. But yeah, to be in the right place at the right time, you just gonna have to put yourself out there and do a lot of different things and meet a lot of really cool people.
Yeah. And if I hadn't gotten this job when I did, I would have become a volunteer. Yeah. And that was my continued foot in the door.
Right.
People value volunteer experience so much.
Definitely. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah.
It's always so wonderful to hear these stories, not only just me getting to know my colleagues more, but also our audience, I'm sure, will really appreciate getting to hear different career paths of how you got to a job that might be someone's dream job in the future. Let's quickly pivot back to our wonderful sea otters, because I saw a question in the chat that I meant to ask earlier. And,
oh my gosh, I've been following you this whole time. I'm sorry.
Also, this map looks a little more challenging than the other one, I think.
I like this one.
Nice.
I was thinking I was doing so good.
You're still doing so good.
Thank you so much.
I think I was
Yes, it's a
6
tight
urchins
race.
ahead of you at one point, and you have caught up.
I'm sorry, Golnush. I totally interrupted
Oh, don't
you.
apologize. We're having a great time. Are there, so Ruby, Ivy, and Selka, do they have specific foods that they really like? It's a question from our Twitch chat.
Yeah, I would. Their favorite. So I would say probably for their, their daily diet that they get in their buckets, shrimp, Gulf shrimp is their favorite. They love when we can give them live crab behind the scenes, and because, that's what they would be doing out in the wild. And so I think that's a favorite food item as well. Yeah, I would say clam is probably their middle favorite. And squid is like eating their vegetables. Like, they'll eat it. But if I'm going to ask an otter to do something very difficult, I wouldn't say, thank you so much, here's some broccoli. I would offer them their favorite food item, which is Gulf shrimp from the bucket.
Well, we're, again, very excited to be here today playing Space Otter Charlie with wonderful Sarah and Catherine and from the Sea Otter team. Thank you, everyone who's been tuning in from Twitch and YouTube. We do these EducOCEANal daily live streams as a way to get to know different people that work at the aquarium. There's so many different departments and people doing all sorts of things here, and not all of them and all the work that's being done is what you see out if you come and visit us. So this is a chance to get to know folks and also just play together and get to learn more about conservation of the ocean and marine mammals, and also hit each other with this week for Sea Otter Awareness Week, we have lots of content across all our social channels, and I am really enjoying all this. Yes, see, let's keep this going. We got about a few more minutes left of our live stream today. If you want to support our work and so that we can not only continue this kind of fun live streams, but continue our mission of conservation of the ocean, please consider donating to us. There's a link in the YouTube and the Twitch chat. As mentioned earlier, if you want to really go out with Sea Otter gear and be all hyped up for Sea Otter Awareness Week all year long, we also have our online shop that has this wonderful selection of Sea Otter related backpacks and plushies and keychains and all sorts of things. As we're slowly closing out, if folks have any questions, feel free to put it in the chat. But I also want to know if there's anything you want to talk about that I didn't bring up, whether it's about your work, about sea otters, about the aquarium.
We could talk about Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I would love to talk about Rose.
Yeah. As many of you know, Rosa passed away at the ripe old age of 24. She was the oldest southern sea otter that we are aware of. And we miss her very much. We think about her every single day. It was very evident with Doug's Twitch stream that, you guys all really love and miss her too. So we have some fun memories that we can share with you. Good job, Catherine.
Thank you.
One of our favorite things about Rosa was that she was very spicy. Like, she was very sassy. And I say that from a very scientific place. But in her older age, she was just slowing down a little bit, but we would still get glimmers of this very spunky, spicy personality. And one of my favorite memories is I was with Jess, and we had set up this really cool, we call it a ball pit, but it's a sand castle that we fill with ice and food and toys. And Rosa found something that she wanted in there. We made an ice mold with little shrimp sprinkles. It had like feet and antennas and eyes. And she just went up to it and she just spanked it. She just spanked it so hard into the water. And it was so funny. Her comedic timing was excellent. Miss you, Rose.
Love you,
Yes,
Missy.
yes. We're so grateful for all the folks that have been really engaging with all our sea otters through the live cams. If you're on our Discord, the Discord live cam chat is always popping. And as mentioned, we really appreciate the Dog community and all the love and support for Rosa. Again, we're here celebrating Sea Otter Awareness Week. And all week, we're going to have all sorts of content about sea otters, making sure that every single person is aware of sea otters and how cool they are, and their keystone species, very important for our coastal communities. And if you can donate to us, so this will continue to help our conservation of ocean mission, our rehabilitation program, the work that my wonderful colleagues are doing here. And we're so glad that we had the opportunity to do this live stream with y'all. And okay, we have a few minutes left. Let's see who's going to be a winner.
Oh, it's going to be Catherine.
This.
Asking the same question.
What question?
Wondering how sea otters communicate with each other.
Ooh, I missed that.
Aw.
Thank you, Catherine. That's a really good question.
That's interesting.
That's an interesting one.
I know that they're above, like, in-air vocalizations. The ones I'm really more familiar with are the mother-pup interactions with that kind of squee sound. But honestly, beyond that, I don't really know what kind of, if they communicate in any other way other than that.
Would you say they're fairly like a solitary, like, and like, of course they have these rafts, especially after storms, but generally they're kind of like, they're the, what would you call it, like introverted, like, but like they're in a group, but they're also not a lot of very socialized.
I would say that the males definitely have a more solitary lifestyle.
Okay.
There's a raft of some juvenile males that live in the Elkhorn Slough. But other than that, the males are, they're pretty solitary. They're going between the groups of females, and females will raft together with their pups. So if you see a large raft, usually there's maybe one male in there and more females, and the males tend to venture outside the kelp forest a little bit more, whereas females tend to stay closer to shore, and therefore they congregate a little bit more in that respect. But I don't think that they really communicate much out
Not
of.
that I know of.
Yeah, have to look into that, do some research on it.
Christine, any other questions that I missed? Oh, someone is asking. If we go live every day this week. So we do have our Sea Otter Cam up every day of this week. But in regards to gaming stream, this is our only gaming stream for the week. We did have a live stream earlier today. The link was put in the chat. If we could put it again in the chat, that would be great, because that was a pretty cool live stream that was done from behind the scenes. And yesterday we got to again take a look at the behind the scenes work of the Sea Otter program annex that's being added to continue. Yes, let's go. To expand our efforts of Sea Otter rehabilitation. We are 10 to 7. Let's see who's going to be the winner. Okay, chat. Who do you think is going to win, Catherine or Sarah? We need some hype for our wonderful Sea Otter team right here, who are spending their afternoon with us.
This game is so
playing
fun,
this
but
game.
I'm so bad at it.
I think you both are doing
you just
really
got
great.
It.
Ooh, that was.
My defense is not good.
It's also a question about subspecies of sea otter.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about that.
You want to take that one, Catherine?
You want to take that one?
Okay,
Sarah?
so here in the Monterey Bay, we have the southern sea otter, and then there are northern sea otters. If you go up to Alaska, they have northerns. And then there are also a species of sea otter in Russia, and I am blanking on the name of that
there were sea otters
subspecies.
in Russia.
Yeah, so originally... Canyoni. Yes, the subspecies scientific name. Yeah, thank you very much.
I got you.
Yeah, yay, Emily. So when we had that kelp superhighway that linked Russia to Alaska and then all the way down the coast of California, good job, Catherine. They were, all those otters were mingling together all the time. And with that kelp superhighway gone, now we have these really isolated populations that never see each other because there isn't kelp to travel to anymore. So, now we have these three pretty distinctive subspecies. The northerns are the largest. The males of that subspecies can be up to 100 pounds. The southern sea otters are slightly smaller than that.
Right, yeah.
But the southern ones are scrappier.
Thanks for sharing that. I learned so many new things today.
I
That's
know, isn't that
wonderful.
fun? Yeah.
Also, Ryan, I love how you're like, Team Otter. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, both of you, for being here with us today. This was super fun.
Super fun.
Yeah,
It's,
thank you so much for having us.
Of course. Hope to have you here again. I am slowly forgetting how to speak. So thank you everyone on Twitch and YouTube for joining us today. Again, we're celebrating Sea Otter Awareness Week all week on our socials. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Tumblr, Blue Sky, Threads, other channels.
I even heard of some of these.
And we're also going to have the Sea Otter live cam every day on Twitch. And of course, it's always going on YouTube. And if you can support us by donating, that is always very much appreciated. You help our Sea Otter program, our rehabilitation program, and all the other work that we do in our mission of conservation of the ocean. And again, we also have our online shop where you can get all your sustainable Sea Otter merch and gifts. Again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you to my wonderful colleagues. Thank you to my fellow content creators behind the scenes. And we hope that you all have an utterly pawsome rest of your day wherever you are. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.